right. So guys, this is our first time doing a Zoom. So we're about to do this. So welcome to Two Queens and Crystal Things, the podcast where we on some manifest your life, shift your mind, and raise the consciousness type of shit. I am Mia.
And I am Christie. And you can consider us your spiritual girlfriend for the next hour or whatever. So last week we talked about one of the most demanding, life-changing, but sought-after jobs on the planet, which is parenthood. Motherhood is a motherfucker. There's no pump.
Motherhood is a motherfucker.
Yes, motherhood is a motherfucker. We need to make a t-shirt.
Motherhood is a motherfucker.
I mean, honestly, it's hard. But yeah, it is hard. And so, but it can also be very rewarding. And so we discussed choosing to be a parent. We discussed the fact that children are not our 2.0. They are not our do-over. Discipline. And we also talked about being a good parent and how, what experiences we have raising a Black child in this society. And one of the things that we also kind of glossed over, which was really cool, is the idea that our children choose us as their parents.
Yes.
Because sometimes, kids are like, I didn't choose to be here.
Like, actually, you did, and you chose me.
Actually, you did. But, we have gotten some really great feedback from you guys, and we've gotten a couple people that even mentioned that they were trying to find a really nice way to share the podcast with their mom.
Without trying to seem shady.
Right.
Like, hey, that's a podcast.
Listen to this contribution. But speaking of mom,
yeah. Perfect transition. So, as we talked about before, one of our goals is to make sure that people see themselves in all types of perspectives, especially in the spiritual journey, because we understand how important it is to feel represented. So, in that vein, today we are talking to our spiritual girlfriend based out of ATL, Georgia. Hi, Queen. Hi. They mamas. The mamas.
Yeah. Mama Queen.
Tiffany, Tiff, and Victoria, aka the Spirit Mamas. So these ladies, the Spirit Mamas, have created I'm going to call it a healing platform for everybody. And I'm gonna let them get into a little bit more. But their hope is to kind of bring everyone home to their authentic self, and we all about that. Introducing to a variety of spiritual practices, rituals, and healing methods. The ladies say that whether you've been on your spiritual journey for years or you just started, they got something for you, okay? So let's get into this. All right. So go ahead, Christy. I'm excited. So first, I want to get, go ahead, Christy. I'm going to let you.
Okay, so I'm excited about this because this is the first time that we've actually via another platform, because these are two ladies who are playing out of state. So this is not an in-person interview, which is really cool. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm also very excited that we're interviewing the two ladies behind Spirit Mama, because I was actually following their page before this interview. And then you mentioned the connection. I was like, oh, wait. So it's really
small world.
Very, very small world. Very small world. And that's not Chicago small. Very small world. So with our interviews, we will just, you all have already gotten the feel for it. We just talk, we drink, we laugh, we kiki, we clean it up, we pedal, we pop our pedal, we cry with it. Yes, we do cry. And, as Mia mentioned, if there's something that is off limits, if there's something that you're not comfortable in speaking about, then
they down for them.
Yeah, they are down.
They know what they said.
Now, so
hey,
Mia's gonna ask all the juicy questions.
They had said it. I heard it. Did you hear it?
I heard it.
Okay.
All right. So, ladies, those who are listening, ladies, my queens and my kings, grab something to drink. Get comfy with us if you're heading to work.
Okay. So first, I want to. So we have two different ladies here. So we have Tiffany and Victoria. So what I want both of you guys pick who goes first. I asked you your questions. So I want you to introduce yourselves and tell everyone I know you guys know your rising signs, your sun, your rising, your moon. Do you know your sun, rising, moon? She's mute. Oh, Tiff, you're muted.
Wait, I gotta go get mine.
Victoria, get her.
I am shocked, utterly shocked.
She's like, wait, let me go get that. And while she's getting hers, the sun rising and your moon, and we'll do. I went. Look, I'm like, oh, I don't want to. What I want to. Where do I start? I want you guys to tell us your sunrise and your moon, how you guys met. Let's get into that, and then we're gonna get in a little bit deeper. But introduce yourself, your sunrise and your moon, and I want to hear both sides of the story of how you met, because it's two sides in the truth, so we're gonna figure it out. If you on me, okay, there you go.
Okay, look, Victoria's going first because, like I said, I had to go find mine. I have it.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited. My cheeks already hurt from smiling, and we're like 2 seconds in, so this is gonna be amazing. But hey, everybody listening, I'm Victoria. My sun is in Taurus. I'm a rising Gemini, and my moon is in Cancer. So basically, I'm a moody, emotional, stubborn bitch, pretty much.
I'm down for it.
But I'll be your ride or die forever. So
I'm always the shit. Gotcha. loyal to a motherfucker though too. That's a loyal.
Probably too loyal sometimes, but yes, very, very loyal. If I got you, I got you.
Got you.
So Tiffany and I, it's funny because we do have different stories when we talk about it, but we worked together in marketing. Is how we originally met in 2015. Yeah, I think it was 2015. And Tiffany had already had Logan. I was not a mom yet. I was kind of still in the spiritual closet, really. Like I used to just come talk to Tiffany and be like, I had this weird dream.
Go ahead.
And really that was kind of it for a while. Like we knew we had a really special connection. One work trip, I had a kind of out of body experience. Like we had to go to the ER because my heart was racing and it wouldn't stop. And Tiffany went with me. And only afterwards was I like, I think somebody dead was trying to channel me or something. And she was, without even batting an eye, was like, yeah, that's what happened.
Wait, that was Tiffany's response?
It was. It was my response.
Oh, wow. Now, this is juicy. Wait a minute.
And then after that, I mean, we both went to different jobs, and she had Lennox last year. I had my baby Sebastian. And the beginning of this year, we were just chatting, and I was like, I don't know. There's something with moms. Like, I kind of started my spiritual journey after having a miscarriage the year before, and was really into it and into meditation and just learning all kinds of stuff. And I had gotten my Akashic Records training, but hadn't done anything with it. And we just said Spirit Mamas. Actually, Tiffany came up with the name Spirit Mamas. And I looked to see if the website was available, and it was. And we purchased it for $111.
Wow.
Yes, I got chills.
Oh, sign.
And the rest is history. No, we'll get into the rest later, I'm sure.
Okay, Tiff, your turn.
Okay, look, let me look down. So I know my son. I'm a Capricorn. My right, bruh. Shut up. And my moon is Scorpio.
Exactly.
So I'm a little bit of.
What's your
moon? My moon is Scorpio. By the way, I could.
Oh God! Exactly. I know it all. And Lord, help us all.
Oh yeah, help my husband.
Right. Me right.
So I am now a Reiki healer, but I've always had a connection to the spiritual realm since I was very little. And when I think back, I remember I must have been about 8, and my mom and my dad pulled me in a room, and they're like, I guess, you know how when you have kids, you notice their dreams. And so my dad was like, listen, I want to let you know, everybody in our family, we kind of can chat with spirits, the dead. And
how old were you?
I was 8. And so he was like, so, I just want to let you know. And I'm 8. I'm like, okay. So it's crazy. When I turned 13, I started having dreams, vivid dreams where I could literally kind of cross over to the spiritual realm. And what some spiritual person told me one day, they were like, you are a crossover, meaning like I help
Still stand for you. Wow.
the living comes like pass through. So everybody who died close to me from the time I was 13 until now, like I know before it happens, right? It's funny, Mia, I actually talked to your mom about this one time when she was in Atlanta.
You have to give me a little bit less. My mama is wild hungry. Go ahead.
So I like suppressed this, right? Like I knew I had dreams and people who were close to me could come to me and talk to me about their dreams and I could kind of help them navigate. But I really suppressed it for a long time until around 2014. I met this young lady and we went to what I thought was a chiropractor, but it was a Reiki healer. And by trade, she's a chiropractor. She's a Reiki healer now. And so I get in the room and she starts reading me. She's like, what's your name? Like she was focused on me. And then she like channeled my grandmother and I could immediately smell my grandmother's perfume who had passed away like maybe 5 years before. And I was like, can I book an appointment? Because what is this? So I started going to her, never thinking I would be a Reiki healer. Like, and then one day I had a dream and basically Spirit was like, this is what you need to do. So I got my certification and I've kind of sat on it for like 2 years. And then like Victoria said, when I had Lennox and like going into the transition of being pregnant with Lennox, I was just really focused on like tapping into Reiki. And so that's what I do now. And I'm really like following my life's path, because I've suppressed it for so long, like growing up in the church and doing all that. But so
like I'm like,
but as far as me and Victoria, so like she mentioned, we worked in marketing together. And it's weird because like I always felt like me and Victoria had this spiritual connection because she was in the closet, right? But she would come to me and be like, Tiff, I had this dream and can you interpret it for me? She was like very interested in like trying to dig a little deeper, and her mom's pretty spiritual too. And she would like kind of tell Victoria, like, you should tap into this side. And Victoria would just be like, no. So we go on.
Scary. Shit.
It's scary.
And once you go, you can't come back. Like,
No.
and
And
it's over. You're like, I just explained to somebody, you cannot unsee and unlearn and unknow. Once you cross the line, it's a wrap. Welcome to the light.
Welcome to the other side. So we go on this trip to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it was the most amazing spiritual experience I personally had ever had. And Victoria gets sick, and we go to this emergency room. Like, so I guess we were like in Albuquerque, but we went over to Victoria, where did we go? It was another.
And we went over to Santa Fe for the day. That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, that's where we ended up staying.
O'Keeffe Museum, and I like lose it.
Oh yeah. She like couldn't breathe. Like she was like, I don't know if I took the wrong medication. And I'm just like, let me stay with you. So this whole journey.
Wrong medication? Okay. Okay.
So seriously, I had a headache.
No judgment here. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm no judgment. I tried it all.
Yeah, she had a headache and then she took the wrong dose of Tylenol. And we were up in the emergency room and it just was this.
Before the emergency room that you did Reiki on me, because I was like literally freaking out. And
so I'm like,
let me feel how your heart is. And she was like,
wait,
literally telling my heart to slow down.
This is before I even got my certification. I was just like, let me do what my grandmother.
Hands on you.
Because my grandmother would do Reiki on me when I was younger. I just didn't know that's what she was doing. So I was like, let me just do this or whatever. So anyway, Victoria lived, as you see, and the rest is history.
She saved your life. What did she just say? Victoria lives, as you see. Goodbye, Tiff.
Not because of me, but like she really thought she was gonna. Kid you not. Like she was freaking out. I was like,
so I'm just, for clarity's sake, and you said nothing about this. I'm just curious. What actually happened? Why did you have to go to the emergency room?
My heart like literally started racing and wouldn't stop. And we think it was because I took too much Tylenol, like really actual Tylenol, not like codeine or syrup or anything like that.
Come on.
Let's be honest, on this trip, the people we were with a lot of creatives, so there were.
Oh, that's why I'm like, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think I had some on the way home though, because I was like, let me have, or no, I told the hospital to give me the good drugs. That's what I said. They were like, do you want anything to calm me down? And I was like, no, I'm fine. And then 10 minutes later, I was like, yeah, give me that. Thanks.
Yeah. It was a crazy trip because on the trip, not only did I like help Victoria, like seriously, like Spirit was like, I'm going to use you and you're going to use me. So like, I was like channeling things for her. Then we had another coworker who was going through some stuff with his wife, and I literally was channeling things for him. Then we went to a dinner on the last night, and like, I didn't know what was happening, but like, I was literally telling people like, this was your previous life. This and Spirit was just like, don't stop, just say what I'm telling you to say. And I'm people like,
wow. It was amazing. And I was sitting next to Tiffany, and I, for the first time, felt like as open as she was. And I literally just kept nodding and being like, yes, that's true, until we both just like got chills, and I got up and ran away from the table.
I'm getting chills right now. Actually, wait a minute, hold on, real quick. Is that a malachite around your neck?
It's a malachite, and it's mixed with something, and then an ammonite.
That right here. This thing is.
Oh yes,
it is an ammonite.
Ooh, is that?
Remember, I got one of those when we were in North Carolina.
Oh, wait, hold on. Is it malachite or is it one of? I always forget what it's like.
Love malachite. Mm-hmm. I got some in someplace.
Love it. I'm surrounded by crystals.
It's beautiful. I was like, what is that? Okay, I need one. Go ahead. Okay, so you guys were having a Tylenol fit. I air quoted that. With creatives, I know about the Tylenol. So how did you guys get to the point where you're like, okay, this is a thing. It's time to do this. And one other question: are you guys both still working in marketing?
Yes. We are both still working in marketing. Well,
I'm still in corporate world, but not in marketing anymore. Digital.
Yeah. I'm full blown marketing.
You have to actually go to work every day?
Nope.
Home?
I'm at home. Yeah. Thank God. I don't think we're going back because of where I work is so many people, but.
Forever? Okay. So what made you guys decide to launch it? Oh, okay. I have so many questions. Okay.
So like Victoria said, we found out we were pregnant at the same time. And we just were like.
Your son's name is Sebastian?
Yeah, they're 5 months apart, maybe 6 months apart.
5 months apart. So we always kept in contact, even because we both left the company. I left first, then Victoria left, and then we kept in contact. We would have dinner, wine, whatever. And so when we found out we were pregnant, we were just literally whatever. And so when we found out we were pregnant, we kept in contact. And then something came to me like, I was like, I really want to figure out this time around, because, I have Logan. So this time around, like how to raise him in this spiritual environment, right? Because when Logan was born, I was going to church. And then midway through, I was like, we ain't going to church no more. Like, but I need you to understand. And I was like, I want to start Lennox off the right way, like how we are supposed to be. And so I was talking to Victoria one day, and Spirit Mamas just came. I was like, we should really do something together, because I found out she had her Akashic certification, and she read my records. And then she found out I was like Reiki certified, and I would go over to her house and give her Reiki. And then one day we were just like, maybe we should start something and do something to help people on this spiritual journey. That's my side of the story. Victoria, what's your?
It's funny because I remember vividly sitting in my like breastfeeding chair, and I think I was feeding the baby.
You have a dedicated chair?
I do. It's very comfortable.
I had a dedicated breastfeeding chair.
We don't keep it like I thought we would.
Walking around with the baby hanging off my nipple, like girl, and it hurt. I didn't like. Okay, sorry. Sidetrack.
No, I'm too lazy. I wasn't carrying his ass around the house.
Huge. Hungry ass.
No, and I think I was feeding the baby, and we were just texting back and forth, and I looked up Spirit Mamas, and we started knowing that it would just be us, giving people Akashic record sessions or Reiki sessions, knowing that more would come, and that you know, the rest would unfold. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what's happening. Like, we are launching our first self-love course. It's on pre-sale right now. But I do think eventually, like, we're getting to stuff specifically for mamas and raising conscious children. And I think postpartum especially is just such a crazy time for a woman. And like being able to have a special tribe of women or like circle, like we lead full moon circles. Like, I just think this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Because everything's happened so fast. It's been what, 6 months, Tiff? Like,
it feels like it's really fast. I'm like, wait, is this really happening? I have to pinch myself most days. But because I think we're finally following like what our true purpose is, it's just like
unfolds.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. When I say we can relate to that's real wrong for Christie. Like, we got this. But no, but that's similar to we were just actually Christie came to me and said, when we were talking one day, I don't remember, but she said, you want to do a podcast? I was like, sure. Full disclosure, I'm not gonna lie. I had listened to a podcast before. I'm like, sure, whatever. The only thing I listened to was NPR, and I didn't consider that a podcast, but I was listening to the old, you know, the episodes and stuff that I love. But that she was like, you want to do a podcast? I'm like, sure. You do want to talk? And she was like, for real? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And it's just, and this is episode 22. You got 22. There goes another. And it's so funny because the last episode we talked about parenting. So it's so funny. This is actually what happened while we were sitting here recording. And Christie's like, what are we going to talk about in this episode? Because, you know, at the end, like I say, we're talking about. I was like, want to interview somebody? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, listen, Spirit Mom. She's like, oh, good idea. And I just text you. I was like, hey, real fast. And I think I said, we're recording right now.
you told me like, hey, I can't talk, but.
I was like, wait. She was like, wait, you know? I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't hear. She was like, how do you know her? I'm like, she's like, Spirit Mamas. I'm like, yeah. So it's so funny. She's been following you guys. and too, it's funny because we follow you on individually and on our platform on Two Queens. And I didn't realize that you didn't know. It was like, oh,
I had no idea.
Full circle. So yes, it feels.
Well, then we repost all of your like Monday affirmations because I just was like, I love these. And Tiffany's like, you know, I know her, right?
So but to your point, it feels so good when you know that, like, oh, I'm doing what, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing. And, you know, we still have, I call normal jobs. Well, I'm a consultant, so I work.
I was going to ask you, like, are you still doing
but the Christmas comes, so we both work. Although I feel like we really should. Like, what's that? It's really, you gotta work over here. You do know, I feel like, because where's my brother? Where is he? Okay, so you guys have this wonderful platform. So, you know, you talked about, like, you both talked about kind of like what set off your spiritual journey. Victoria talked about when you suffered a miscarriage. I'm sorry to hear that. That is, damn, I just got you.
It's more common than you think.
No,
I mean,
I'm miscarriage.
I'm not grateful for it, but I kind of am, you know, just the perspective of it. I wouldn't be here today without it. I wouldn't have Sebastian without it. It doesn't mean it didn't suck. It was horrible, but
fucking horrible. How far along were you?
So we think I may have been only 7 or 8 weeks, but we didn't find out until the 10-week appointment, and we went in and there was just no heartbeat. I didn't have any bleeding. I didn't have anything.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
I should have known though, because there were so many spirits nearby. My great grandmother came to visit. My grandfather came to visit that have all been, you know, passed away. But I just thought they were coming to love on the baby. So now I know when they come by, I'm like, stay away.
Yeah, they were loving on the baby. The baby was like, hey, I'm about to go back over here. No, it's crazy because I feel like, Victoria, when you, I remember you asking me, like, Tiff, do you think like another baby's coming? And like, we had all these conversations because I experienced 2 miscarriages since.
You had 2 miscarriages?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And
I'm going to put a pause right here because seriously, I don't think people know how common it is for, and you know what? It's like when you over 30, when in 30s, 35, and you get pregnant, they basically will be like, yeah, so there's a 40 to 50% chance that this is gonna happen. Like, bitch, first of all, I don't want to hear that right now. But before I had Jade, I had a miscarriage, but and it was also right before I had my what do you call those things? Those big things in fibroids. I had fibroids, and I went in for the laparoscopic, and they ended up I had a C-section cut because they were huge, and I was like, okay, this is the thing. And I remember the doctor telling me, and I was 33 at the time, and she was just like, so yeah, babe, it ain't looking good, you know. And I wasn't pressed to have kids, but I was just like, did this bitch just tell me that it ain't looking good for me to have kids? Right, look, I'm like, rude. I thought that was super rude, but I mean, you know, they have to give you, it's a litigious world. Now, I get it. But it is very, and there, I think there's, and you guys with me now, I feel like there's a little bit of a shame or a guilt when you have a miscarriage. It's almost like, did I do something wrong, or am I not fit? Especially if you don't have any children and you have a miscarriage. Like that's not fun at all.
Yeah. It's like your body betrayed you. That's what it feels like.
You know what, y'all? Y'all know this. It's so much deeper than that. So like when you get to the spiritual part of it all and know like that spirit was like, listen, I came here, but I can't come here. So
you ain't ready for me.
Like, because Lennox was seriously supposed to be my daughter. And then in the middle of everything, she decided not to come. And for some reason, he's here, girl. He is everything, okay? Like, he is giving us
wait, I need y'all to hear the pregnant pause. He is
everything. I even had a C-section with this one. I'm like, oh my God. So, but I know that like he chose to come here for whatever reason. I cannot wait to find out. But like, I think like if we get past the shame and then get to the spiritual level, it's so amazing.
When like Chrissy has 2 children, you know, that they're big kids now. This lucky heifer. Her youngest is 16. Like, luck straight.
What?
You don't have to be that happy about it though. I feel attacked with this freaking 9-year-old who's trying to run my life. But I will say, when we talk about children choosing ourselves, choosing us, it's so funny because I was on the birth control. I was not supposed to be pregnant. When I say birth control, I'm talking about every day I would wake up. You know how small birth control pills, I would wake up, reach over, pop it in my mouth, and I would go back to sleep. Like, I got this. So when I was pregnant, I was like, oh shoot, the fibroids are messing with my menstrual. I got to go back to the doctor. The doctor told me, she said, bitch, shit happens. I'm like, but I'm on the pills you gave me. You prescribed me.
I was on birth control.
When you think about all the things that children have to go through to actually be here, you know, what our wombs have to go through, and how we have to be ready when a life actually comes spiritually, they're here for a reason.
Yep.
For a whole reason. Okay, but back to you guys' spiritual journey. So tell me, I'm sorry, sidetrack, can't jump into the motherfucker. I'm over here, I keep burping. So, where both of you guys, where would you say you? I know it's hard to describe, but try it for me. Where would you say you are on your spiritual journey? Like, what? And it's a continuum. It never stops. So it's not like, oh, I'm halfway there. So once you're halfway, because there is, all right, y'all, I'm done with this earth. It's been fun. It's been real.
Wait for that. Okay.
You're definitely an older soul than I am. I'm such a young soul still, I feel like. I'm still in the beginning stages.
You think, okay, that's interesting.
Yes and no. Like, I think my soul, I think, is younger. I think where I am in my journey on this time around the earth, I'm further along.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have like a long ways to go. But I think I'm also a continuous. I think my soul is just a continuous seeker, and I'm always going to want to learn and grow and like be continuously changing.
No, but like real talk, do you see how you literally just, I love shit like that. She literally just said she knows what and who her soul is. Like, no,
Yeah.
It's so funny. Our souls, there are certain things that no matter what life iteration that we're in, there is something that is continuous through all of them. So for you to be able to be like, oh, I'm a seeker, I know that's every iteration, that's who I am. That's dope. That's super dope. I love that.
But it's crazy. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have been like, no clue, spiritual, laughed in your face and been like, no.
Like, oh, look at this little woo-woo girl. Okay.
No, because I feel like Victoria, like you have like grown so fast. Like in the last 3 years, I'm like, is that the same Victoria? Wait a minute.
I love.
Like we have a business together.
You know what happens when you decide I'm ready. I'm aware. When you really say the spirit, like, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's how I got. I was like, fine. All this time I've been running from it, hiding from it, lying from it, and then I finally got to a point where I was like,
what? Yes, for real. What you want? Where would you say you are, Tiff?
So my soul is an old soul. I feel like I may have maybe 1 or 2 lives left if I choose.
Interesting. Now, if I choose, we gonna have a reason to come back to this.
But
it ain't looking good for you, motherfucker.
okay, my question, like, why did I choose to come here?
No, believe me.
Real no.
I'm like, I'm wrong. Because this is the thing. The only thing, once you realize that the most scariest thing is death, right? And once you realize that I'm not afraid to die, then there's nothing to be afraid of. And I remember my dad called me one day, was like, you didn't tell me all that to tell me, like, you okay, right? I'm like, I'm not going to kill myself. I'm just telling you, I'm not afraid to leave this place. Sometimes I'll be ready. Okay. Not
there's like way funner places to live. Way more fun. Way more life.
Exactly. But in this life, I would say that I'm probably like midway. Like if it was on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 5 because I'm still like eager to learn more and like really, really excited about like just like being on this podcast. I'm like, Victoria, oh my God, like anything that's spiritual right now, I'm like, I'm like, we're doing this.
You guys know how like when you, like I said, when you say, okay, it's time, let's do this shit. Let's do this. And then it's like super exciting and it's also scary and real shit. Shit gets really real. Some of the challenges, you just like, wait a minute, hold on, tap out. And like I said, you can't go back. So what would you say, especially, for people who are even thinking about getting on it, there's so much bullshit out there about, what it is. And it's really just, learn about you. And I would disagree with you that I think you're at the beginning. Yeah, you're
maybe like in the middle. Maybe not in the middle.
Well, I would tell you, I literally know exactly how old I am when I'm going back. Like, it's like we've already had this conversation. I know exactly, yeah. 50 minutes. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I'm like, I know it does it automatically. Oh, I didn't know.
No, I'm muting on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So where would you say, what would you say are like, what do you call it? Your challenges? Like the parts where you're just like, you get to points where you're just like,
what have been the hardest phases of your spiritual journey?
The hardest phase for me, and it may be a Black thing, right? And I've told Victoria this, is like trying to get my Black people on board to be like, this is, because everybody's like, well, what about church? Are you the devil? I'm like, no, like, and like how close I am to God right now. Like, I am closer than you will ever.
Oh my God.
I think
that was close. My mother was like, she's working with crystals. We don't know.
I was like, have you read the Bible? Have you read Genesis? Because it's in there.
I know, and there was someone that posted on Instagram too. I'm like, you do realize the Bible does mention crystals. I mean, before you start shaming all of us that work with crystals, know your facts.
So I would say that's been my biggest challenge. And when I say it's been my biggest challenge, it's because the people who you think would support you no matter what, like friends, they question everything, which is fine. Like question.
I'm like, my neck is about to break.
But I think like it's sometimes put a halt on things. Like I'm going, and then somebody will question. I'm like, oh, I'm backing up. That was me like 5 years ago. Now I'm just full. I'm like, this is me. If you want to call me whatever you want, witch, woo woo, whatever.
Well, my ex-husband called me a witch. And then he was like, you have the spiritual Jezebel on you. I was like, okay.
What?
I would have been like, oh, hey, Jezzy. And then, by the way, your grandmother who died, she has a message for you.
Right, exactly. Let me tell you what she's saying right now.
And he was like, that's all she had to say. I'm like, you know what?
Really?
I was like, Jezebel, G. Anyway.
Yes.
Victoria, what would you say?
Honestly, it's like similar, just the judgment and being afraid to talk about it. Like I said, I was in the spiritual closet for a long time. And I feel like now Tiffany's right. People that knew me 3 years ago probably are like, who's this bitch? Like, what is she doing?
No, like I can't. I can't. People are like, wait, Christie's doing angelic Reiki and working with the crystal.
Like, what is this? But I think it's the societal, like, it's the stereotypes, honestly. But it's also the words you choose, because I think spirit means something to me that's different than to someone else. Mm-hmm. Or for the longest time, I mean, I went to church growing up, but like, not like Tiffany, but like when someone still says God, I get a little like, I'm like, it's the universe, it's source, but it's a word. And so I'm like, what is it about that word that gets under my skin? And I realize it's like all of like the societal training.
Comes with it. It goes against the grain.
Well, no, I think it's because people, I think with religion, I grew up in a church, I think that religion tries to make the idea of God something tangible, and the only way to get to God is through, what we say, like go through this, or you have to do this, and blah 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 blah. But I wish I could take credit for this. I didn't come up for this, but then someone said God stands for giving, oneness, destiny, and I was like, I'm down. God.
No, I like that. That like
I love it.
I don't know where I heard it from, but I was just like, I'm with that. And so when I think about that, and I'm big on creator and source. But when we were talking about how we raising our children in a spiritual path, because Jade, And you know what? Yeah, I love how spirit works. I'm going to tell you. My daughter actually was never Christian by accident, because I definitely have paid, and I can't remember what happened where something was like, okay, we can't do it this week, and then something was going on, and I was just like, pause. But that was definitely part of the plan. Like, she was going to get Christian and baptized as a baby. And I just can't remember what it was that happened. But looking back, I was like, nah, that was just spirit. Just like, hold on, just put a pin on that for a second. We got something else for you. So I think that it's, especially when you already have a child that you kind of raised in a church a little bit, and then you're like, and so that's part of the journey. Like, at the end of the day, these kids are on a journey with us. And so wherever we go,
and they're going to have their own ideas, their own opinions, eventually, all of it. But that, their identity too, and their sense of self, I feel like is going to be so amazing when they come into that. But I'm also so interested to see Sebastian challenge everything that I say, so that he comes up with his own ideas. Like, he doesn't have to believe what I believe. But I want to show him the choice.
Hey, I'm just giving you this is
because I feel like growing up, I didn't really have a choice. And for Logan, Recently, he's like, so am I a Christian? I'm like, let me just explain what it is, right? And then I'm like, is that what you want to be? He's like, no, I'm good. I'm good over here learning about everything.
You know, the kid is like, so wait, I don't have to go to church every Sunday? Or what happened? Look, what, you know, no, that was, I remember being a kid, like, if I had a sleepover, like one of my friends' house. Church with you. No, I'm saying if I'm at a friend's house, oh yeah, if they were at my house, they definitely going. But if I'm at a friend's house, and you know, Saturday night, you're all excited. Girl, my parents were at the door 9:30. Well, come on, you gotta go to school. Damn, I can't. I'm with my friends. Like, you know, I remember like I hated going, but I will tell you this. I was confirmed at 13. And when I tell you to this day, I know the Bible really well, and I still read it. It's not. And I don't have a problem with the Bible. I don't even have a problem.
But this is the thing, like what I noticed is when I started reading the Bible once I like woke up, it's
beautiful.
It's like, whoa, like this is what we were trying to get to. Like, you know, it's like amazing. Like it's like you can read through everything. It's like words just pop out. It's pretty amazing.
And it's so interesting because you know when you're learning the Bible, you know, oftentimes, I'm not gonna say in all, but in a Christian religious setting, it's being interpreted for us. Oh yeah. So it's like, okay, and this is what God meant here. But then when you read it as you're a little bit older and have a little bit more understanding, you're like,
I think that's what he.
I think it's all talking about Jesus, and I know my Christian ladies are gonna be mad at me, but I feel like one of the things that's why I'm like, I rock with Jesus. He's cool. I don't think that he's the only way to get to God. God lives in me. But that's exactly what I feel like when I read it again. I'm like, that's literally what he was saying. He was like,
I tell you, like
I'm trying to tell y'all, motherfuckers.
Wake up. Let me tell you how to open this
Kundalini. Like, when he said, I am God, he's like, you are too, motherfucker.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have a question. I'm gonna assume, or maybe I should ask. Have you guys gone through a period where you needed to do some shadow work?
Oh, get into that deep dark. So
yes, I feel like I just came out of a period of really good shadow work. I feel like that's part of like where this course was birthed from. So our course is called Reclaim Your Magic, and it's like 19 days of just kind of like self-love, empowering things. But my shadow work is, all about loving and accepting myself. And I think that it's still hard to this day. Now I don't give a shit what people think, but growing up, I cared way too much, gave my love to everybody else. Every guy, I grew up in a very small town, probably dated all the guys in that small town, looking for love in all the wrong places.
Sampling, girl, it's a sample plate. Don't worry about that. No judgment. Let's sample plate, baby.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of ancestral like shadow work that I've started to go into because I think my family, I know is a lineage of brujas and witches. And I think my great grandmother was very into it. My grandmother, not so much. And she kind of cut off our line. Yeah. And then my mom has very different gifts than I do. And so I think I'm doing a lot of healing work for my whole line of women so that the next line to come can be fucking amazing.
That is amazing. That's some dope shit. Have you dug deep into some of that shadow work?
Girl, I'm going through shadow work right now, okay? Let me tell you. 2020 has been, look, Tiff, don't run away from it no more. You need to face everything. And that goes to the spiritual side, even to like my daddy, who I love dearly, but he was not the best husband. Mm-hmm. So, it's like, now that I'm married, I'm having to face some of the shadows to make sure that I'm not carrying baggage into my marriage that I have like my granddaddy and both my granddaddies and everybody else So that has been a journey for me, shadow work, which I'm in deep right now. And then the spiritual shadow work, like Victoria, my family, especially on my dad's side, they were shamans. My grandmother played around with it a little bit. Like I said, she would do Reiki on me when I was little. I didn't know what the hell she was doing. But like my aunt and my dad kind of like shunned away from it. And so now I'm all in it. And they're like, yeah, mom used to do that. And I feel like Victoria, where it's like, I have to do this. So for the next generation.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I haven't, Chris, I'm going to let you talk about it. You've gotten a call for ancestral.
Yeah.
I don't, right, as of right now, I'm going to say right now, I don't know that one of my aunts, she was just a little bit, she passed away before I was able to really kind of understand and ask a couple of questions. But yeah, as far as I know, and I don't, my grandmother, she was, I fuck her. I'm like keeping it 100, you know why. So I don't know that I have I don't know where it comes from, but I would tell you for certain that the little girl that came out of me, that one, she is, and like we have these conversations where I'm telling her, I'm like, Jay, next time I'm gonna be the daughter, okay? Like you get to be the mom. She's like, you got this, you got it, mom, no deal. I'm like, Jay, please, I'm like, you living a good life. She's like, I don't want to spend all my money on the kid. I said, but I do it for you. She said, yes, but I'm the kid. I'm like, this little.
I was telling Victoria when we were in New Mexico, like her and her mom used to be sisters, and it's funny to like.
Oh, but like now that I'm in the work, I know.
Like, oh, for certain.
My mom hates hearing it too, but for sure.
How did that come up?
Yeah.
Like I told you, like.
What are you talking about? I told you.
They were like, just talk. Don't think, just say what I'm telling you to say. And that's what I did.
I know. Didn't we woke up my mom. We were sitting at the phone.
We were in New Mexico.
And it was like 2 a.m. or something. And we woke my mom up and I said, Tiffany has messages for us.
True. We were fucked up. Okay. Like we were on bottle like 10.
Sounds like my type of
I learned, I think, to channel. Now I can do it completely sober and actually need to be sober. But the first times that I've been channeled, I was out of my mind. And I guess it let me be open enough.
The Tylenol?
No.
Wink.
Wink.
Yeah, I know. See, you're telling on yourself. It's full of
No, I used to smoke weed every day. That would not send me to the hospital. Don't worry.
Smoke weed every day. What's that from? Smoke. Come on, Tip.
I don't know. I just can't wait to not breastfeed anymore.
Oh,
you're still breastfeeding, Tiff. I forget that all the time.
How much longer do you have?
Like tomorrow. When I came to Chicago a few months ago, I was walking around the house with cabbage and I dried up. And as soon as I came home, it was like, no, he still needs you. So.
Damn. Look,
I'm giving it another month and then that's it.
How old is he?
He is 15 months.
Okay. Oh, you a good one out.
Yeah. I worked for 12 months for both and I was like, I need this back. Like everything in front of my boobies.
Yeah.
I did 6 months and I went back to work at 3 and then pumped. But I would tell you know how some women like they could be just talking and they pop a boob out and they could just oh that was me. I couldn't. It was not. I mean, and I felt really. I was judging myself about it. Like it was not fun at all. Like it was. I'm just like okay. I mean, I'll say
no, and you'd pump it like an out. It was like, what is this?
Oh,
I stopped it.
I was gonna go for a year. I was like, I can't do it no more. But I had a lot of milk in the freezer for so I would when I started taking her off of breast milk, I would use it to supplement or add it in, and then also I would if she ever, like, if she got an earache, I'd be like, I got the breast milk. You know what I mean? So I would keep some frozen just for, but I'm going to be honest. It didn't take, I didn't, oh, girl, just thinking about it.
Oh, that's another thing to normalize is the use
Right,
of
you don't have to have a celebration.
breastfeeding, whatever the hell you want to. Like,
Yeah.
That was another thing I had a lot of shame about. Like, my boobs just didn't produce.
He was like, no.
I was like, don't have any shame.
I hated it. So I wanted to ask you guys a question. Can you share like your daily practices as far as like, your spiritual practices? What are some things that you do on a daily basis? You can even share what you want.
Yeah, so for me, I'm a Reiki healer. I'm also an intuitive. So it's funny, like when Victoria opens the records during our like full moon circles, naturally, I just want to jump in because I'm like, this is what I'm hearing. So like naturally,
I can tell. I'm always like, Tiffany has advice right now. Hold on.
But so my 9 to 5 spiritual, I'm a Reiki healer. But I also, and I was just telling Victoria this, like I've been, like the universe has been telling me to tap into like what I'm going to call dreamscaping and like trying to help people analyze their dreams. And then we also do, I do tarot reading. So yeah.
Love.
So I'm an Akashic Records reader. I know you guys know the Akashic because you had someone on a couple podcasts ago. She's amazing.
Too. I love it. I love going to myself.
I just love that anyone can do it. Like anyone can access the records. Like I'm not doing anything crazy. And then I'm also like an intuitive medium, channeler. I feel like a lot of times in people's sessions, loved ones come through me. So trying to open that channel up more, really into Kundalini yoga. I don't want to teach or anything like that, but I bring the breath work into our circles to kind of move energy.
I know what Kundalini is, but what is Kundalini yoga?
So it's Kriyas are what they call, or like are called. So basically it's like a series of breath work, mantra, and meditation that are done in a certain order for a certain outcome. So like the one I've been doing every day is for vitality. So like, helping your skin and your organs. I did like a warrior one a couple months ago, and you're supposed to do them straight for 40 days. I'll be honest, I don't always do that, but I try.
So, okay, I'm sorry. Just because I've never spoken to anybody who actually does Kundalini yoga, and I've seen it. I'm like, what is the difference between that and
real yoga? It's more honestly, you're sitting and breathing a lot more. Like yoga is preparing your mind to sit in meditation by wearing your body out physically. Kundalini, a lot of the postures are you're sitting and breathing a certain way, or you're keeping a certain eye gaze and a certain like hand pose. Uh-huh. So I would say it's not a gentler yoga because some of the Kriyas are kind of really hard, but they're just not as, I guess, physically taxing as like normal yoga.
But it's more of a I'm going to say mental, spiritual.
Yes. Yeah. Like I literally have felt high after doing Kundalini because of all of the breath work that you're moving through your body and all the energy. That's really what you're doing is you're moving all the energy through your chakras at a very fast rate, like way faster than normal yoga.
So in terms of your daily practices, is this something that you do like, okay, I wake up, I do my Kundalini, do you meditate? Do you what do you do?
I try to, like, I will say the baby gets me up. So I tend to wait until he goes down for the first nap. But then, I try and like, actually it's my meditation space behind me. I'll try and get some type of Kriya in. If it's the same one I'm doing for 40 days, or I follow like these amazing women, Elevate the Globe. But that's all they do is teach Kundalini and breath work. And they do all kinds of seasonal ones that like you do for Sagittarius season, for the full moon, that kind of stuff. But yes, I try and get it in like every morning or as close to the morning as I can. And I know Tiffany does night practice, which actually I've gotten into recently and I like too. It just depends on what I'm feeling, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I think we both try to just have like a daily ritual. For me, like I start off like every morning, like I journal or write down my affirmations and I like say them out loud like every single morning, like before I get in the shower. And then nowadays I have to do the yoga or either meditation at night because that's the only time I can get it in. And some nights I can't because I'm just tired. But I try to like have some type of like self-reflection a day.
Wait, so both of you guys are married and we're already married. Victoria, were you? I'm assuming we're already married, like before you really kind of jumped into this spiritual journey. So as like we keep it a 100,000 up in this bitch. As you are going through the journey, you're growing, learning more about yourself. Your needs, your desires, and what you want. They change. Accordingly. How have you guys been able to, or have you been able to? How do you keep it like? Because what, especially, and not trying to stereotype men, but when we're with the man, like I'm married, and now you're this person. It's like, okay, you need to bring me along in the process. How do you guys how do you keep it together and kind of bring them along with you on your journey, but also knowing that it's not your responsibility?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like, I'm still I love you, but baby, I'm on something, right?
It's funny. Like I remember when I first started doing this, I asked my Reiki master. I was like, "Is my husband going to divorce me?" Because this, like,
I didn't know you asked her that. I asked someone that the other day. I was like,
she was like, "Well, if he's, she a real one." She was like, "Well, if he leave you, he's supposed to leave you." Like,
You're like, that's not what I
want. but she kept it honest. She was like, "Listen. The female energy is the leading energy, even though they try to make it seem like it's not. So naturally, he will follow." And he did. Like, I mean, Anthony, and Anthony, I mean, he's hilarious, but he walk around the house now like saging. And we have that, let me put our bracelet. Like, so he's open. And the other day, he was actually like, "I'm really proud of Spirit Mamas. Like, I'm proud of what you're doing." But for a minute there, I was like,
love.
I think I felt I was changing so much. Since having Sebastian in December, and I did ask a girlfriend, I was like, "Do you think like Will's gonna?" And so I asked him, I said, like, "Am I different? Like, let's have a conversation about it." And he said, "No, you're exactly the same. You're still the same soul. You just have different interests."
Oh,
and I'm just like,
so okay. So you guys, you heard that. I know, because that's the thing. I think a lot of people are worried about getting deeper into themselves and learning more about themselves, because it's like, I want to do that, but I don't want to fuck up my marriage or my relationship, or kind of whatever it is. And so when you have a partner who's just like, I fuck with you, and you just look like, and I'm riding with you, but I love it with what your Reiki master told you, like, because that's when I tell you that's some real shit, that the female energy is really the lead. Where you go, they will follow, baby. And when I tell you, by far and away, I wish I knew that 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
But this is the thing, like,
I wish I knew.
Realize, like, like I said, the scariest thing for me ever was death, right? Not divorce. So, I mean, that's a scary thing too, right? For me, because I haven't been through that. But I think once I realized that, like either he's coming along or he's not, and like, it's okay if you don't, and if we're supposed to be together, that's okay. Like, so, like, that's where I am right now.
I got you.
Yeah, so
you're away from it. It's just like,
but I'm just thankful that he has come along, because I feel like I've helped him grow and be a little bit more open. And he didn't grow up like in the church like we did, so he was always kind of open, like, "Hey, we going to church this Sunday. We gonna stay home."
He's like the Falcons are playing. Like, are we really about to go to church right now?
Right. So, I mean, it's been a journey, but I think he's never been the one to stop me. It's been like close friends, our family, that kind of made me be like, "Wait, am I on the right path? Because what are they gonna think?"
Yes. I think like, I'm so glad you guys said that. Like, for real, because I think I would tell you personally, for me, going through it's so funny, because my ex-husband, the second, Jay's dad, We're real tight, but I consider him one of my greatest teachers. So he introduced me to Taoism. Like when we met, he was a Tao. He was a Taoist. Like he just like, and so when you meet someone, you know, and you're falling in love, and it's just like, oh, tell me about that. So I started reading a lot of the Taoist teachers, and I was like, Lao Tzu was kind of the shit. Like what, you know what I mean? It was just, and it all felt good. So me being where I am now, he's always kind of like he laughs at me like, man, you just a pass. you just took it and ran with it. So he likes to take credit for my spiritual journey, which I think is fucking hilarious. But I think for a lot of women, sometimes the break of a relationship sets off your spiritual awakening.
Yes.
Because so many of us, and I would tell you, definitely for me, what I've learned is so many of us in relationships, the people that we choose, they are our mirrors. And it's a part of us sometimes, and for me, it's a part of me that I wasn't ready to accept of who I was. So I always choose a cocky know-it-all. No man, they all look different. But these motherfuckers are arrogant and a know-it-all. And so when you start thinking, you know, like, oh my God, he's such know about when but you get a little bit more mature, you start thinking like, actually, how is it everybody that I've really ever been in love with is a cocky ass know-it-all, arrogant as shit? What's that say about you? Because, you know, they are our reflections. We chose. Like you chose these people to be with. So for me, I think that the going through the divorce process for a second time and, you know, and then having a child, it's like never in a million, gajillion, billion years, if someone would have told me, like, yeah, that's your life, I'd be like, this please, you don't know my life. Like, that's not, do you know who the fuck you talking? But it really did help for me to set off, like, you need to pause, stop for a second and be like, what's going on with you? Like, this, like, you can't blame everybody for everything. So what are you choosing? What are the decisions that you're making? So for me, that had a lot to do. That was the fast forward.
But then when you make that choice, spirit helps you. They finally say, finally, you're listening. Okay.
And I still don't think any of it was a mistake. I'm like, I know for a freaking fact that I would not be where I am and who I am. Oh my God. I'm so, like, it sounds crazy as shit, but I'm so grateful for going through the process. And so that's why at this point, I can just be like, it's cool. I'm here, but I know that shit, 5 years ago, this would have been devastating, like complete obliteration, devastating. And it's not. So what do you think? Like in terms of how, like, your spiritual journey with your relationship?
So I will admit that so I am coming to the end of my secret marriage too. And I was telling her, I was like, I find it interesting because it seems like a lot of the women that I've met in the spiritual world tend to have stable relationships, but they're open, or they tend to have relationships that aren't stable and they have a lover who, you know.
That sounds like fun.
It does 6 months. But I hope coming to the end of my divorce for the marriage number 2, and I will say that he showed me that I was not living authentically. And so he is the one, because when we got married, his brother, who got killed by CPD, came to the house to see me for help. And I didn't know what to do, so I freaked out and I told my husband at the time, who was his brother. I never met his brother because he died right when we got married.
So when she says came to him, she's talking about in spirit.
Look, at first I was like, the door, and then I was like, oh, wait. Oh, he came.
I saw your face as I said, she needs the spirit.
Yeah, the spirit. And so he thought that I was crazy and then told his siblings about it. And they were like, oh, that wasn't him. That was the demon. And then, the church that I was going to, I'd always see angels. And then I got to a place where I wasn't seeing them anymore. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. This does not seem to be good for me to have anyway. So I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to feel it. Just take it away. And so for 9 years, I essentially muted myself, quote unquote. And then I saw Mia. Mia gave me a vision. It was like,
oh yeah, I was like,
I know. I said, but I don't want to. And then the energy hero that I see saw me the next day and then opened up some stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. But it was from my soon to be ex-husband. I looked at him and thought he wasn't living his life authentically, and I said, I can't do that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being a man.
So doesn't it feel so good to like live your truth now? And
when you're looking back, like no, seriously, looking back, when you're in the closet, and when you're wearing the mask, and when you're out, when you come out and you take the mask off, there's so much. I think back to like, and I'm so glad that I have this very vivid memory about like there was so much fear of just being me, just like it just like, and I followed like, this is what you're supposed to do. You go to school, you do this, you climb the ladder, you do this, you know what I mean? Like, and it just, that's not, you go to church on Sunday because that's what you're supposed to do.
Not fulfilling.
I always, you like, you know how you just know, and I've always known, and I say this all the time, I've always known, I used to call it my superpower. I could walk in the room from very little, and I knew everything, and I could feel everybody's energy. I could hear what wasn't being said, and so in corporate America, that served me very well. Like you motherfuckers be like, you a G, and I'm just like, oh, I just thought I was smart as shit. Like, you're intelligent, Mia. You got this, but that was fear. Like, you're just something else. But I remember that fear after taking off the mask and stepping out. I would tell anybody, as soon as you just say, fuck it, just do it. Just see what happens, you know? Something comes over you, just like, I can't believe that I masked myself down for this damn long. You're a whole grown person.
So much joy. Like, you think,
right?
Like, I can't even tell you, I mean, my 20s, I had a lot of fun. But someone recently asked me about that time, and I looking back, I was like, it was okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather be now like 20 times over and be who I am and be like, there's no shame, there's no fear, there's no guilt, there's none of those low vibe feelings unless I choose to have them because I'm having a shitty day or something, but not because of like who I am or my actions or that I'm hiding anything. Like, it takes so much more energy to hide yourself.
Oh my, can you please say that back again? Like, for real, it takes so much more energy to act, to portray, to mask. Like, and then when you release it, and we talked about the fuck just gone, and it's just deplete it, and it's not like bitter or angry. Like, I don't give a second about you. It's just like, okay, like, no, seriously, somebody could be like, you're a bitch. Well, okay. I'm that too. I am with a W. Put that in there. I'm a witch. Like, it's just so when you get to the point where I think it's so free. When you get to the point where, and I've said this before, like, when you realize the two most important words in the world are "I am" and not "you are." So whatever it is, your opinion of me is not my problem.
Yeah.
That's
your business.
I don't have nothing. That's your business. I don't have nothing to do with it. And when I tell you, that's such a freeing place because you literally just get to be all in your own world. It's just like, I'm out here living just authentically. I just get to be me.
Experiencing.
Today I'm this. Tomorrow I may be that.
Right.
So you saying you're mean or you're wonderful, you're nice, like I am. Whatever you see, that's your perception.
Yeah.
Learning that people see in you, especially when they see something evil or bad in you, or they hate you, or they want to see you hurt or not doing well, and you get to the point you realize that has nothing to do with me. That's your perception of life, and that's what you see. Because somebody can see the same thing and be like, "Oh my God, that's an angel walk."
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I got another question for you guys.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, spirit mamas, we're all mamas here. And so last week we talked about parenting. So how has, I mean, maybe I missed it because I'm sorry, I am a little high. But how has working in the spiritual realm, like or in this world, how has that affected the way or changed the way that you parent?
For me, I will say it's made me be more intentional. So when I started with Logan, who's 10, about to be 11, like I've always been spiritual, but I didn't know my spiritual, like I didn't know I was a spiritual queen, put it that way. Like you said. So I will say, like, I'm more patient with him. I'm intentional as far as like being present in the moment with him, because I know that's the only time that counts. I used to, like, my mind would be in a million different places, and I would be like, I'm a super mom because I can like drop you off and I can do this and do that. And then I realized that like he needs to see that I'm like here, I'm present. And so I will say that this journey has allowed me to be an amazing mom because I'm able to give him 100% of me, not just the physical, but the spiritual. So like he's like, it's funny to like see him. So when he was like 2, he would like pick up a laptop, and because me and my husband, we're always working. And when we went to Chicago,
He would mimic you.
we went to the Lotus Den, and he was in the back with, like, the kids went missing, and I go to the back, and he's like giving his cousin Reiki, and I was like, oh my God. So it's like seeing, and then his cousin runs out, he's like, Logan just opened my third eye, and I was and so like it was funny because like he looked at me and I was like, well, this is what he sees every day. And I'm proud. Like in that moment, I was so proud. I was like, oh, this is
oh my God, I wish I could have seen it.
so that's one of those things where it's like, I know that what I'm doing, like he's not picking up on the fact that his mom is like a workaholic, which I still can be sometimes, but he's like, my mom is spiritual and she is doing Reiki on someone. And this is what, like, if he's like, Mommy, my throat hurts. Can you put your and he like, it helps me and Victoria with like some of our content and things like that. So like, that makes me feel proud that like he's embracing the journey. So I will say, I think I've improved in the last 10 years. So I'm going to be amazing for Lennox. I'm like,
Lennox, right? What do you think?
And I feel like my journey just started. I mean, Sebastian's 11 months, I guess. So it's almost a year. But I feel like the presence is huge, but also being able to hold space for him and knowing that like when he's having a little tantrum, like that I can be that calm presence and like let him have the tantrum, let him whatever, he's safe. I am his safe place. And I don't think I ever realized I could do that was something that I would do as a mom. I just think the portal of birth is so amazing and has completely transformed me in a way that I didn't even know was possible.
I mean, if you really think about what women, and again, no shade to our gentlemen fellas, but honestly, if you really think, I think it's so, it's actually laughable when you think about the patriarchy and how they try to make it seem like men, they run everything and everything. When you really think about it, we literally
feed you.
Give life.
Everything goes to shit.
Yeah, but seriously, like we literally give life, and I mean, I think that's so cute. So, I know, like with Kai, she was like this other day, Jay came to, she was like tearing up with her, like, Jay, what's on? She's like, oh, this is so bad on me. And I'm looking at her, even her, I got a dramatic ass kid. She's a Cancer and a Pisces rising. And the world is so like anytime she put on her show, she with the shit. So but I'm looking at her, I'm like, no, something else is going on. So I I laid her down and I did Reiki on her. And I was like, hold on, I'm like, something really is going on. And I knew that she was sick. I'm like, I knew that something, they was feeling powerless because this COVID, she was really fucked with her. So I'm doing Reiki on her, I'm talking to her, and I'm telling her, like, don't forget to call in your angels and, blah, blah, blah. And then so I put her in the bed and tucked her in, and she fell asleep in like 5 seconds, like she was out after I did the healing on her. The next day, I'm here listening to her. She's on the phone with her friend. She's like, yeah, my mommy's a healer, so, she healed me. And and so to hear her talk about it, and you don't know what they're necessarily picking up, but this is what she like. Christy came one day. I was And
My mom is meditating. I go back and she's like,
That's amazing.
but she, but the fact that she knows I can come to her, like she'll come and she's like, Mommy, I don't feel right. Can you do a reading on me? And so for her to even say that, the first time she said to me, I was like, what? But so it's so refreshing and such proof that our children are watching us. Mm-hmm. Even when you think they're not, even when you think they're doing Fortnite and Roblox, that's Jay's thing. On the phone with their friends, they are paying attention. Like Jay tells me, she's like, we record on Wednesdays. Mommy, are you recording here? Are you going to Christie? And I hear her talking to her friends about it, and it's too clean. And so it makes me feel really good that I know that I'm empowering her because the message I'm telling her is, baby, like you are queen, like you got this, like you are a healer, and I'm here for you, Alan. So I
love that.
Yeah, what do you think?
So actually, I wanted to ask you guys a question. I don't know if there's something you can talk about it. I don't know, look, I'm like, you one. So, what would you say is the hardest part, or was the hardest part of this trip?
The hardest part? Same thing. Okay. She's like, okay.
So then, what did you do to get through those dark times? To get through the battle? Like, what did you do to help yourself get out of it?
I think it was being consistent with a morning practice. So after the miscarriage,
tell them, Victoria.
Like this made such a difference for me. Was every morning I got up and did something to move my body in any way, yoga, intuitive dance, like go for a run, whatever, and then sit down and journal afterwards.
Yes, and I write down everything. I wrote today.
So much
today.
And even being able to look back, like so crazy story that I knew I was pregnant with Sebastian, knew it, went to the doctor. She says, you're not pregnant. The pregnancy test came back, not pregnant, whatever. Anyway, like 9 weeks later, after I drank during my birthday, drank during all this stuff. Oh, I'm pregnant.
Girl,
but
we're just giving you one last hurrah.
Thank you. And I went back and looked at my journals, and like the things I was writing, the things that I said, and the things that I was channeling, like was giving me all of these signs. And so I just think it's such a gift to be able to go back and read all of that. And Tiffany and I have said, we're going to turn our journals into oracle cards one day.
Yes, that's next. We're working on that. Yeah.
I'm not even going to look at her right now. I'm literally not even going to look at her right now because I tell you, we've been talking about that. We actually have started working on oracle cards. We have this thing. I'm not even going to look at her right now, but a lot of it is the stuff that you learn through your journey, and you're just like, oh my! I don't know about you guys, but when I learn something new about myself, I'm not a big sharer. I'm not like Christie's really good at shit.
Oh, see, I put that shit on Instagram. Like I showed a nasty ass picture of my stretch marks after my C-section and talked all about it.
Like that. I'm not you know what I mean? And it's not because I'm like so proud and I think my wife is so special and important. I'm not sure that's just not natural.
Yeah.
It's not. So when I learn something, when I feel compelled, like I have to share this with other people because I know people are going through this. So that's how even us doing the podcast for me, that's why it's easier for me. I would not be able to do this and be talking about anything else just because it's just not my natural. But something like this, I'm just like, no, for real, y'all, this is life changing. Mm-hmm. I want everybody to feel like this is like, you know how when you get the one friend who falls in love and wants everybody else to be in love because it's good. It's like everybody needs to come on, it's so fun. You're like, good shit.
I am with this. I'm like, everybody should everybody needs to learn about this. But understand that everybody's on their own journey. I used to get so frustrated, especially with my mom. I used to be like, why don't you get this? Like it is so easy. Come on. And then I realized, I was like, it's her journey. Like, I had this amazing dream. I told Victoria, I wrote it down. I read back through my journal a few weeks ago. And basically, she was going down this river in another life. And I was trying to like grab her and tell her, like, you got to come with me. You got to come with me. And she was stuck. And it was like, Tiffany, of like, you had this dream a while ago. I was trying to tell you, like, it's okay. Like, she's going to get to where she needs to get. And it was like I kept coming back around to get her every lifetime. And she would move down. And then finally it was like, I just got to fly and do what I got to do. And then when you catch up, you'll catch up. And that's how I feel about everybody. Like, if I'm dropping little nuggets for you to like, as long as I'm doing what I need to do, then you'll grab onto something and come along to where you're supposed to be.
I think that, like, spirit, like, no, that's so fucking real. And when I tell you one of the messages that Spirit has told me, and they keep telling me share, because I get so many downloaded messages, and it's still difficult for me. So I kind of peek them out just a little bit, but I think that one of the messages, like, for everybody is honestly being authentically who you are is enough, because people who need you will come to you. Who's attracted to you will come to you. And so but you have to be you in order to get that, like, you know, everybody has their different vibration and magnets. So it's like, okay, all right, the magnet's out, I'm here, this is what's going on, this is blah, blah. And then and it's so funny because you'll have little people like on the side, like, yeah. So,
but that's why it's like,
what's that thing?
what you guys are doing are meant for different people than the ones that we want to do. And there may be people that get both. And that's beautiful. Yes. There is more than enough room for all of us.
Everybody. Yeah. Victoria, please. Like, that's real talk. It's more than enough room and space and opportunity for everybody. It's literally 7 billion people in the world. Right. We're trying to say, like, hey, because we're really saying the same thing to people. Like, be you, be real. Here are some tools, like, you can be healed through this modality. You can be healed through this modality. It's just like, and I'm learning that as we embrace it more, more things come up. You're just like, so you paying attention now? Okay, cool. Now do this.
And I don't know if you guys encountered this same issue, but it's not even an issue, but one of the things that I noticed in doing this podcast is that there are a lot of people in the spiritual closet. And so we'll get DMs or questions, you know.
But it's almost like,
right, like, we don't want to let anyone know, like, have you all had that
reading? Like this, I get like,
I'll just say people have come out of the woodwork that have surprised me. There have been people that I've done readings for that I went to high school with that
people we used
to how much closer to, but I'm just like, whoa, okay, I didn't think you were interested in this, but awesome. Like, I am here for it.
Well, and it's interesting because you would think that the people, oftentimes you think the people that would naturally just kind of support you, where it throws them off. But I'm not even sad about that. And the people that you didn't really rock with like that, they're like, wait a minute, hold on, can we talk about this? But yes. I'm not, it doesn't upset me because I'm like, well, people, your people who are closest to you, they're used to seeing you, like, Victoria's like this is my friend that's like this, and it fits into their life, and they've made this beautiful package, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I'm not in that box somewhere. They're like, what do you mean? Like,
what? You don't know what you do. Like, who are you?
You said what, Victoria?
No, I'm teasing. One of my really good friends, I used to smoke a lot of weed. And so she recently has just been like, what, you don't smoke anymore? Who are you? And I'm like, I mean, I changed in 5 seconds. That's the beauty of being me.
And I'm a new mom, like, shit. I'm trying to
give me 5 minutes. I'm you know what? I talk about it all the time. I'm a gummy girl. I don't really like smoking like that. I just don't like smoke. Like, just
right.
You know what I mean? But unless it's Palo Santo. But but I don't like smoke. But a gummy,
Yeah.
I can't. I almost died the last time I had a gummy.
What? Girl, I love it. Let me tell you.
I was like, Victoria.
Man,
You
let me
can't.
tell you something. I have coined a phrase called the surprise high. So let me tell you how this works.
Yeah.
So you get up, you take a little gummy or something, and I forget. Like I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then a couple hours I'll be like, oh shit, I just got high. It's like the best. I forgot that I took the
That's yeah.
And now I can't do it.
I mean, I have to just make sure it's portioned correctly. Put it that way.
I got my doses down like perfectly. You learn, but no, I know a lot of people who like I can't do that. It takes
because I feel like it gets in my bloodstream to a point where I'm like.
Like I
already am intuitive, and then now I gotta hear like your conversation for real. Like, what's going on? Like, yeah.
I will say though, I can get empathically high. Like if Christie's high,
And vice versa.
and feel like and I'll be like, no, I didn't have any weed today, and I'll be like. I'm like, oh, it's because you're.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That is a power.
This is amazing. I'm like, I can be empathically high. Oh, this is the shit.
That is amazing. Literally, I'm gonna have to try to channel that energy. No drug test. You pass every drug test because you just high.
Like I high off the life.
Yeah.
I don't know if we asked this. Do you anybody have altars? I know this is kind of random.
Altars? Mm-hmm. I have an altar. Yep.
I see yours, Victoria. Wait,
mine is right over in the other.
I usually to turn the camera the other way because it's in my closet.
I want to know what's in your altar.
Should I bring you over there? Hold on.
Tell us. I love seeing people's altars.
Tell us what's in your
Oh, I love
altar.
it.
Well, it's hard to see because it's dark in here, but this is an amazing, I'll send you all a picture, an amazing moon shelf my husband made that has all my crystals. I've got pictures of my grandfather, trinkets from like my great-grandmother, other ancestors, flowers, chakra symbols. I don't know, change it all the time.
I'm laughing.
White thing. Right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, the selenite tower?
The black and white.
Oh, it's a stairway. It's a piece of glass. Oh shit. Hold on.
Oh.
Isn't that awesome?
Right? Isn't that pretty?
And have like the little
Okay.
rainbow hallway.
Exactly. And the sun comes through there. It's gorgeous.
Because I don't know if you remember this meditation. One day I did this meditation and I took these stairs up into the sky where I'm at ISIS, and it looked like that. That's why I kept looking like, is that what that? And then I kept looking like, what is that? So what do you have on your altar, Tiff?
I was laughing because one time I put a story on our like page. Victoria was like,
Show me with the water.
water, can you move that water bottle? I was like, that's for my grandmother. Because I give them like food, water, whatever they want. Anyway, so I have pictures of both my grandmothers on my altar. I keep all my crystals. And what I do every month is whatever color I'm feeling, I put a cloth down. So like right now I have a purple cloth down. Mm-hmm. And then I keep like my sage and stuff like that on there. And I give them what they want. So like my grandmother, she always kept water by her nightstand. So every night I put water, or maybe every week. I put water there.
Love that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So what would you say, so both of you guys, individuals, what would you say to somebody who's like, okay, how do I start? Like I'm ready. I just don't know, like because oftentimes people like they feel it like it's something I just don't know where to start, what to do, and especially if you don't have a community that you know of yet. Because once you open up, you're like, oh shit, there's a bunch of us out here. So what would be your advice, or kind of just what would you tell people who are just like, I don't know how to start, I want to start, I'm afraid, I'm nervous? What would you tell them?
So for me, I always tell people, and I love to meditate. So a lot of people come to me and that's how they always start. They're like, I want to learn how to meditate, and I'm always like, they have some amazing like guided meditations that you can download or listen to. So I always put people there first, but then I always say, during that meditation, just ask your guides and angels. A lot of times they're like guides and angels, but I'm like,
girl,
just ask God
whatever works.
Yeah, what you should do. And so it's funny because like when I do some of my close friends who I never realized were like into spiritual anything, and they come over for a Reiki session, the things that they're into, I'm like, oh, wow, I never thought about that. Like I have one girlfriend who literally, in order to get to meditation, like she will do a shroom, and I've never done that. But I was like, really? How does that work?
But I'm like, don't judge me.
I might have to try that one day, like, when Lennox is like 5. But yeah, so I just always tell them to start with like a guided meditation.
I feel like that's the same. I give the guided meditation advice or the journaling. Honestly, I feel like it's so simple. It's just journaling your feelings, journaling what you're thinking. Or sometimes if they don't know what to write and they're nervous about it, you can, find prompts online of things to write about, or even just start with a letter. I love telling folks to write letters, whether it's to like their higher self, their inner child, someone who wants to live. Like, that to me is tangible and something they can start doing. And I'm just a writer naturally, so that's where I always go first.
In our 19-day course, like we are literally guiding people through like, okay, on day 1, this is something simple you can do. So we have like journal prompts, we have mirror work, we have guided meditations that we've recorded. So like simple little things that hopefully they can like take with them and like make into an everyday practice.
And everything is like 15 minutes a day. So it's doable. I think a lot of people think you have to sit in meditation for an hour with your eyes closed and think about nothing, and that's not it at all.
I'm trying to make it seem like I think a lot of people think like when you think about meditation, they picture a monk that's able to sit there hours and not eat for months and just picture. I'm like, babe, you can't think of anything. Like, babe, come on, man.
Our walk is a walking meditation. Maybe your run is your form of a meditation. You're going to the gym, whatever that is. Like, that's a meditation.
Even when you're talking to, like, I talk a lot to myself, but I think that was my easy entrance into making that like, oh, I'm really just having a conversation with my higher self, and then you know what I mean. But I still have my journals from like 5th grade, so I'm a journaler. Like this is I have several books in my journal. But so we are, by the time this airs, this is today on Friday, we are doing a self-mastery session for people to do, coming into, we're in 2020, so people they're getting a Reiki session, an angel Reiki / crystal healing session, they're getting a reading, and then we're helping them set their intentions for the new year, a crystal consultation, because, people, sometimes they need something tangible to really hone in on the energy, so as we're going through them, we're giving them crystal consultation, helping them set affirmations. So by Friday, because it's and they're going to get like a whole report of everything by Friday, we'll have that up. But we can only do that for a limit because that's like 2.5 hours of energy work from us to, for people. But I think it's so important to me. Like one of the biggest lessons for 2020 is because you've had an opportunity, like people have been home, and like I love the fact that you are forced to deal with yourself at a certain point. So it's like, okay, it's about self-mastery, self-knowledge, self-love, self-acceptance, but also understanding where you need to heal. So we're actually launching that. So by the time it comes out, we're going to do this self-mastery thing. It's we can only do so many slots at times, literally.
Yeah.
To get this, but it's really just about helping people understand who they are and where they can start on this journey. Like, this is the healing opportunity. This is what's going on. This is where you are. Like, baby, you doing it. Yeah. And they're going to get a report afterwards. because we really want to. I think it's just so important to me. It's I feel like my purpose, and this is our last question. My purpose is to remind, to wake up, to activate, like, because all of us have that divinity, that divine in us, that I am your highest self. And so it's just a matter of when we chose to come, everybody that chose to come here to this life, to this earth, for a purpose, for a reason. And the purpose is something you created. Yeah. So it's just like, why am I? Because people are like, what the fuck am I doing here? And so it's just like, wait a minute, hold on. You chose it.
You already know.
You already know. So it's like, that's part of my purpose. So I want to know, we wind down, I wanted to know what would you say is your purpose and how are you living it?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. I know that's but come on.
That's a good question.
I know that's not a static answer, because when people, like, your purpose grows as you do. So yeah.
No, I think I am waking up to it now. And I think it's helping mothers find the love for themselves that they have for their babies.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
And I mean, if you literally asked me a year ago, I would have said,
yeah.
I think that's my purpose.
Well, you're not even drinking. Make that word. I like that.
My own spirit, man. But no, I think that's my purpose for now, and I'm sure it'll change. But that's what I don't know, feel very called to do.
I love that, making moms love themselves as they love their. Ooh,
yeah, because as moms, as parents, just in general, we oftentimes forget about ourselves. Like Mia and I were talking about this. I don't know because I feel like you're so nice. But no, at one point we talked about just, as moms, constantly putting our attention and our energy into our children, and we forget about ourselves, we forget about our needs, and we have to remind ourselves, at least I've gotten to this place now, is there was a me before you. So, but I've just gotten to this place now, since I'm going through my second divorce. What does Christie like to do? What does she enjoy? Like, what makes me happy? What fills me? What are the things that I want to give back to society? What are the things that I know that I'm purposed to do? And so my daughter is seeing that, and we talk about our children observing. I'm happy that my daughter is able to observe that I'm reclaiming myself.
I'm reclaiming my time, Auntie Maxine.
I'm reclaiming myself because I got lost in my relationship. And I think as parents and as mothers, we oftentimes
get lost. Oh, yes. And honestly, the best mom you can be is when you're a full person. Yeah. I can't pour into my baby's cup from an empty cup. Right. I need to be overflowing. Yeah. So it just falls over naturally, pouring into, you know what I mean? So I love that. What about you, Tiff?
So I realized a few years ago that my purpose is to help people wake up to who they are. So to help them find remember the purpose that they have.
Yep.
And so I'm happy that I'm finally doing that.
We told you the name of our course is Reclaim Your Magic.
Oh, I love that.
Like bringing yourself back.
So I don't ask, but how can our listeners find you all?
So spiritmamas.com. We've got one-on-one sessions with Tiffany and I do, like we said, Akashic Records readings. Tiffany does Reiki healing. We've also got this Reclaim Your Magic course that's on pre-sale right now. We do full moon circles. Tiffany's opening up some dreamscapes soon. Anything else, Tiff? I don't know. I feel like we're coming up with new stuff all the time. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yep.
And they can follow us at Spirit Mamas on Instagram at Spirit Mamas. And we don't really get on Facebook a lot, but we also have a Facebook account and it's Spirit Mamas also. So, and if you want to email us, it's just info@spiritmamas.com.
Love. So major takeaways for everybody, a bullet point. I'm going to make Tiff do it. And then Victoria, just so you know, you're going to do our message for the day. So go, Tiff. what do you think to make, like, it's like, if no one listens to any other thing, except for this part of this nugget, give us the
So the nuggets for today are you all have the power to tap into your higher selves.
Tap in.
Take time for self-love, meditate a little, and hell, just live. Don't worry about what other people think.
Live your life. Thank you. Before you do the message for the day, we're gonna talk about your crystal.
Yeah, so one of the things that we always do on Two Things and Crystal Things is we talk about this week's crystals. And the crystals, we ask you your favorite crystals just so that we can talk about them. And you all sent 3, I think, total. I brought 2 out of the 3. I have a moonstone bracelet. I think it's my favorite. I wanted to bring these 2. I have a rose quartz point, and then I have a malachite. And you know, these 2, the one thing that popped out at me is that these are both heart
chakra. That's exactly what I was like, you fucking love babies. All about this love.
Yeah. Rose quartz is for love, and malachite is for growth and development and like creativity and renewal. And so, I mean, we've covered these crystals before, but I thought because they were one of your favorites, I thought to bring them up again because I think it's a good idea. Do you guys meditate with your crystals? Like, how do you typically work with your crystals?
I meditate with mine. I have crystals all around me at all times. I keep them in my bra. I keep them in my and even though so when I do my Reiki sessions, I also use crystals just to even out the chakras. But crystals are everywhere. I have to teach the little one, it is not a ball. You cannot throw that out the window. But yeah, I use crystals for everything. Like if I could cook with crystals, which I think you probably can.
I have them in my kitchen, girl. Creative. I have a carnelian, a rose quartz, and a clear quartz for love, healing, and some creativity.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that'll help me learn how to cook if I put
Oh, it's in there. It's in there.
I know. I feel like they're contained to the altar because I don't want Sebastian to pick them up and eat them now that he puts things in his mouth. But I grab whichever ones I gravitate towards during meditation or put them in my pockets. Lately, I've been carrying them around the house. So then I have to ask my husband, like, where is my rose quartz? I don't know what I did with it. I have heard you can put them in your plants, which I might consider because all my plants are dying. I'm not a plant.
But I'm like, I actually, all my plants live in me until I got my cat who decided that. but I do have crystals and all that. I can put clear quartz.
Clear quartz, right? Okay, yeah, that's what.
And I make the crystal infused water, so I do crystal healing, and so with my clients, I always give them crystal infused water at the end of the session, and so I started using that water in my plants. I still kill plants, unfortunately, but I'm working on it.
That crystal infused water is the jam. Let me tell you, and charge it in the full moon.
Oh yeah, I actually have one of those cups by me something, but the crystal, like you screw the crystals in at the bottom.
Oh yeah, so it's an indirect method.
Yeah, so I brought like 2 of those, and so if my throat chakra's screwing up, which is usually my problem, I drink out of that. But I want to make some crystal water. That's cool.
And it's delicious. It's really good. Like I'm not a big water drinker. Actually, no, I'm not anemic. Like I am ice all day. Like for real. I have like an ice machine. You'll be like I'm looking over here for my ice cup. Like I'm laughing because I'm like, I know people think I'm like just drinking all day. Like, why does she always have a cup with her? Ice.
However you get it.
Okay, so Victoria, you ready for the message of the day?
Sure. So my message actually it's not my message, it's Spirit's message to everyone.
Oh, girl.
You are worthy. You are beautiful.
Yes.
And you are capable of every single thing that you want to achieve. There is no limit to what you can do.
Oh.
You are limitless, and all you have to do is decide to be, and you are enough.
Decide to be. You are enough. Was that for me? Because I felt all of that. Thank you. Oh, that's welcome. People because that was for me. Because she looked dead at me when she said it. Thank you, Victoria. I thank you. I need sending the message to me. So Okay, so you can find our lovely spiritual girlfriends at Spirit Mamas on IG. You can go to their website at www.spiritmamas.com.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your energy, your journey. Like just sharing a piece of yourself. Like honestly, for real, sharing a piece of yourself with us and with everybody listening. I can't wait to for you guys to hear this.
Thank you guys for having us. Like I can't even believe how long has it been? It's been like 2 hours. Like that went by like this.
No,
I don't want to go.
It's not that long. It's like an hour and 30 minutes.
I like 30 minutes. It felt like we were home. So
It does go by really fast. Like real fast. But I really do appreciate you guys. Like I said, I do think it's so important for us to promote each other. Because we are spiritual entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? So that's a thing. But also we're giving of ourselves, of our energy and our learning for people. And I think it's so important for us to share and promote each other. And like Trey said earlier, we're not in competition. It's like, you guys, it's enough out here for everybody. And I think it's so important, and we think it's so important that we continue to show so many different aspects of spirituality and different journeys. We want people, it's not about us. It's not about you. It's
not about, oh, I'm better, so I'm not going to connect.
No, it's about, like, hey,
growth.
I want you to see everything so you can pick and choose what works for you. So I'm so glad that you guys came on. And so as we go, thank you for listening to Queens and Crystal Things. Before we go, I want you to show some sisters some love.
Show some love, y'all.
Show the queens some love, you guys. Please like, follow, subscribe, share. We're on all the podcasts. Apple, iHeart, Spotify, Google, we're everywhere. Share, it's about sharing the journey. Follow us on IG at Two Queens, Crystal Things. And that's the TWO, Two Queens, Crystal Things. Yeah. We are doing this self-mastery for the end of the year. I cannot wait for you guys. We definitely want to talk about that. We're doing a self-mastery program for everybody for the end of 2020, going into 21, because it's time to get ready, guys. It's like when we say this at the beginning of every episode, raise the consciousness. When I tell you the consciousness is elevate the consciousness, shift your mind. It's like we really for real mean that. So we're offering things that we have. Actually, I'm so glad you brought you guys guided meditations. We last week we recorded some guided meditations, and we made music. We did sound music. We literally recorded track. We were laughing like to get London on the track. Two queens on the track. Let's get some sound bowling. So we have some really exciting stuff coming for you guys. Check out Spirit Mamas. Reclaim Your Magic.
Yeah.
Reclaim Your Magic course. I love that. I love that. Let me tell Christy, I swear for God. This girl was she's a speaker. She's like that, she's gonna keep going. So yes, I'm gonna keep listening. So, oh my God. So thank you guys so much. Stay tuned next week where we're going to talk about self-mastery. Yeah. Getting to know yourself, loving yourself, accepting yourself, getting to a point where you understand where you need to heal. And we just want to help you get there. Spirit Mamas wants to help you get there. Take off the freaking mask, get out your closet, live authentically, and we love y'all. Thank you. And you guys stay right there. Thank you, and we love you, and thank you. Love you, y'all.